Hello, I hope you're having a great day today. My name is Lolly and I want to share this project, which is called an Eco Resin or a water-based resin. And this was made at a demo at Creativation this year. I will give you a link down below to their demonstration of doing this. This is their terrazzo effect. So they have put little flakes of other projects inside here. I really like that look. So I am going to start saving my little scraps as well. So what this is, it's Jesomonite. There's the name right there. And it's an Eco Resin. This is a starter kit that we got in our class that we took at Creativation. So Jesomonite is a brand of this Eco Resin. And FTC Creative is the authorized U.S. distributor for this UK company. The company actually, Jesomonite, has been around for 40 years. I did not know that. So this is a mineral base with an acrylic polymer liquid. You mix those together in the right proportions, and within 20 to 40 minutes, you are pulling this out of your mold. This is really cool. You can add bits to it, like you see here, up to 80% of the total volume of your project. And you can use sealers afterwards. So this is the little kit they gave us. Now, they had all measured out the ingredients when we got to class. So we got this. Now, the kit actually comes with the mold to make this. In class, we were also given these, and which we made this. And it is, I cannot express how smooth this is. If you are a tactile person, you're going to love this. It's just so fun to hold. And I found out that this can hold 2 of these. So be a cute little thing on your dresser for display. You can color the mixture before you pour it, and you can make one darker than the other, or you can do the lid separately from this. And if you have your own silicone molds, there is a website, jesomonitecalculator.com, where you can go and calculate the amount of product you're going to need for that project. So I am going to pull out everything I have. These are the colors. I see it looks like black, blue, and purple, but I know it's not true. It's probably blue, green, and black, but you will notice once we start playing with it. So I am going to make this today. They do give you some of these gloves. You don't really have to use them. And then we have the popsicle sticks. I do have my own silicone one. I'm going to move this out of my way. And again, this is the same mold that we use there. Okay. So you're actually building this upside down like this. So if there's something you want in the bottom of this, put it here first, like gold flakes, etc. Put that in and then pour the Jesomonite over it. But keep in mind, you will have to sand this a little bit because this is kind of how it looks at first until you sand it. Now, okay, so I am going to read this. It does say that part 1 and part 2, this is the liquid acrylic polymer, this is the mineral base, and so it's 2.5 to 1. Okay, base to liquid. So the base is this, 2.5 to 1 of that, and it is ratio by weight, so you will need something like this to measure out your weight, and we will calculate that all out. So I'm going to turn my weight scale to grams. Grams, okay. And then you just pour your water until you fill it all the way. Okay, so I have 69.7. I have 70 grams. Alrighty, so I entered it into their calculator at 70 grams of water, and it would require 87.5 grams of the powder and 35 grams of the liquid. And you'll notice it says in the instructions to always add the powder into the liquid. So what I'm going to do is use my silicone mixing containers. I don't know if we need to mix this, but I am. And so the liquid, I need 35 grams. And this contains 200 grams. 35.1. I will leave it at that. Okay, and then I'm going to tear this out, which means I'm going to zero it out with the current weight right there, so that now I know when I have 87.5 grams of this powder. Now I'm going to put a little mask on just to make sure I'm not breathing it in. So I might sound a little funny. And I have my mixing stick, and I'm just going to start adding a little at a time. Okay, there we are. Now I am going to close that because I'm clumsy. And I want to look down in here and really mix this well. So you'll notice I'm using silicone for mixing, and that's because it will come off more easily when it's all dried. Now, they say you can rinse this in the sink, but what they do is they rinse it in a bucket of water. They let all of the composite sink and settle, and then they can just strain it out, and I like doing that better. So we're mixing this until it's thick like pancake batter. Got most of the bumps out of there, and then we're going to add yellow because I'm going to do bee themed. Now, when I made my little jar here in class, I did that as a light lavender, and it was really pretty, but as it hardened, it actually turned into a light blue. It's still pretty. So I'm doing yellow, and I'm not sure how yellow this is going to be. You know, do I want this pastel? Do I want it really bright yellow? I don't know. It looks like a good color. Even if it becomes very pastel as it dries, I'm okay with that. And I do mean to say, I didn't mention before, but I rinsed this, when I put water in here to measure how much I needed of the Jesomonite composite, and so it was wet. And so what I did was I dried it with a lint-free rag, and then I made sure. I even turned the mold inside out. You know what I would say? I think next time what I will do is I will round this out. So if I see I have 70 grams of water, I might make it 75, just because I want to make sure that I have enough product in here to get it, because it looks a little shy for me compared to what I had my water level at, because some of it's left behind. So clearly we could easily add to this, but I'm not going to mix more. Okay, now what you're supposed to do is this, to get it all the way down into the crevices, and so that the bubbles can come up and pop. Oh, that is a good amount. And then after a while, I'm going to look on the side and see if I could see any big bubbles. I can pop some of these that come up to the surface if they're not happy. And if you see any bubbles all around the sides, you might want to stick something down in there and pop those, you know, like your pokey tool. Just don't poke your silicone. Do not poke your silicone. But like I could see a bubble down there that's not, you know, it's not getting better. And I don't want that on the side. Now, in about 20 minutes, we can demold this. Since I made some motions with this, I'm just going to make sure this is nice and flat. There we go. And I could see that I really could have used a little more. So next time I will say that this is 75 grams instead of 70. I'll make a note to myself. It might be a good way to keep like a spreadsheet of all your silicone molds and what the water measurements are and the measurements for your Jesomonite, so that you can remember for the next time. Or you can write them on the bottoms of all your molds. That would work as well. Okay, let's come back in 20 minutes. Okay, so when you pour this, if you were sitting here and watching it, you would notice that your mold gets pretty warm. I mean, it's not like it's so hot you can't touch it, but it does get pretty warm. And then it cools back down as it hardens. And so you can hear that, you know, it's done. And I'm going to go ahead and demold this. So the reason you wanted to use silicone is now on this, all I have to do is just keep crunching it like this, and all these little pieces that come off of there are going to go into my collection, so I can also add them to other projects like they did here. So I'm keeping all of these scraps. So hopefully none of it is wasted. Okay, so let's turn it over and just peel that mold back. And it's silicone, so you can turn it completely upside down and inside out. Oh, love it. Now, you will notice you have a little sharp edge right there, kind of like at the fluid edge, and all you have to do is just run your little block of sandpaper over there to get that smooth. And if you want to do something special in here, like if you had the terrazzo or glitter or whatever, and you want it shown, you could take the sandpaper to that as well. So I do see some bubbles here. But it's okay. I mean, I could see through the mold. I could see the ones that were out here. I couldn't see the inside. And it still looks okay to me. I am going to get an SVG of a bee, and I'm going to put that right in the middle there. And this does feel smooth enough that I don't even have to sand the inside. Okay, I have wiped the inside of this out with a lint-free cloth, and I cut out of adhesive vinyl. I probably should have moved this. I cut this out of adhesive vinyl, just a matte vinyl. I have no idea how well this will stick to the Jesomonite, so this is an experiment, folks. I'm hopeful, though. Oh, good. Yay. Oh my gosh, love it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take a fine brush with some white acrylic paint, and I'm going to paint just the wings on this. And I suspect this is going to take a couple coats. Okay, so that is one coat. I'm going to come back when it's dry and give it a second coat off camera. So that has two coats of the white. I love it. I decided I did want to put a bit of a sealer on it just to kind of help protect the vinyl from scratching. And so I'm just going to use this DuraClear Ultra Matte Polyurethane. And I am going to put two coats on there. So when that's dry, I'm going to add a second or even maybe a third coat. And I want to show you that these are the scraps that I collected from my molds, and these are going to be so fun to use later. This overall, I think, was wonderful to work with, this Jesomonite. Having worked with epoxy resin before, I find this to be so easy and so fun. Can it break? Yes. I mean, if I were to drop this on a hard floor, it could break. So from that standpoint, you do need to be careful. It has a feeling like stone, and I love that about it. It's very smooth. It's very appealing. I love the rich colors. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you look at that video down below that I'm giving where you can see them working with it at Creativation. Thank you for coming along and creating with me.